Hey guys, it is time to finally make the signatures for this little book that we made out of, we made the cover out of a macaroni and cheese box, and now we're going to make a couple of signatures. But what I want to start with is, I want to figure out what I want to put in my signatures, and let me move my spine out of the way first. So I've got a lot of stuff, but I know that it's going to have to be cut down. And if I have anything with pictures that I want to preserve, then I want to make sure that it's going to fit. So everything is going to have to be folded in half on itself. Hopefully I'm making some sense, but everything will be folded in half. So let's start there with the folding. This one just doesn't want to fold correctly. There we go. There. So everything's going to start like that. And then we'll stick it all together. But if you have pictures that might be cut off, then you want to kind of rethink how you want to put it in there. So I like to check where everything's going to be kind of placed and folded. You see my lace is going to have to be cut at some point, but I'm not going to worry about the cutting right now. I just want to pick out what I want. Okay, my camera cut off randomly. What I was saying is, whenever you go to the donation place near us, it's called the donation station in my area, but anywhere you go to your donation places, your thrift stores, you can find some really nice big books like this for, I get this for like 50 cents. I use all these book pages, and then I use the middle for sewing and doing different things. So you can make pockets out of them. You can measure and cut and do different things. Use the spine for your journals. So this 50 cents goes a very, very long way. Alright, so working on this signature here. And I think this is really pretty. It was a gift bag, but no, I don't like the little things. But I have cut this gift bag up and used the stuffing out of that as well. I may do that anyway. I may use some of it. Does not have to be equal and even and all that good stuff. So you can do big, little, whatever you want in here. Find the cheapest way to go, the cheapest route for your journals, so that you're not spending a small fortune trying to get your journals made. And then some people want to sell them. You don't want to spend a small fortune doing that and then trying to sell them and, being out quite a bit of money. If you don't sell it, then you have not spent a ton of money on it. Now, I did find this ribbon today for, I believe it was $2 at Walmart, and I thought it was really pretty. It's kind of a burlappy looking ribbon with eyelashes on the edges, and I could not pass it up. I mean, how cute is that, y'all? I mean, I'm just loving it. So I'm going to use a piece of that in part of my signature. Don't want to cut it too long because the signatures are small. I probably should have measured it in the book, but again, been eyeballing these for a while, these little signatures. So if I have to cut off some, that's okay too. So this signature is just about as big as I think it should be, with all kinds of different textiles, textures, things in here. You've got your canvas. Thank you, Vicki, for thinking of that. I could not remember. Your papers. You've got your ribbons and your mesh filling stuff. Just all kinds of really pretty things that I think are going to make this journal pop. And the more different it is, the more fun it is to go back and look at as well and decorate. So now we know that we want to put our papers where we want them so that they will be exactly how you like. I do like envelopes, but I think I got too big of an envelope in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this envelope in half, and then let's see how I want to do it. I want to cut off the end of this envelope here so it kind of lays open. I'm going to sew it into my signature like that, and then we'll close it and you'll have a little envelope pocket right there, but I want it to hide my sewing. So we're going to put that right smack in the middle of the signatures. You can see once I close it, I'm going to glue the edge, and then it'll just be a little pocket. So that is that. This is where it gets tricky because you're going to have to measure it, you're going to have to do all kinds of fun things with it. So, and because these are going to match, I'm going to cut that again. And that one will be just like that. And it'll be right in the middle there. Okay. So now comes the fun part. Now you have to measure. The best thing to do is to find a guide piece. So I think I'm going to do a separate guide piece. No. I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this my guide piece. So I'm going to fold this in half. And I'll figure out the height and width of this, and then I will cut this and use that to measure the rest of my signature. Easy peasy, right? Okay, so I am going to use a pencil. Now I want to get it exactly where I want it on the top and the bottom. Last time I did not do this as well as I wanted, so bear with me while I measure and think. Do I want that much? Okay guys, so my camera shuts off periodically. Something that I've been dealing with for a while. I may have to bring it back. But anyway, we're going to time it. 4:28. I'm going to see if it goes off in 30 minutes or if it's going off sooner. Okay, so I'm looking at the top and the bottom and where I want my guide paper to be cut. So I'm going to do that. And I'm also going to look at the inside of where I want my guide paper to be cut. So I make a little mark on those spots. Now I'm going to cut it, but first I'm going to find my cutter. Haha. This is worth the money to cut any and everything. It's just really a good deal. Let me get everything situated the way that I want it. Since it's the book's a little bit on the small side, I'm going to go ahead and just cut all my papers at once. And then we're going to hope, well actually no, I'm not going to cut these. I don't know that the material will cut as easily as the paper and the napkins. Okay, so Going to line it up. Make sure that it's in there really nice. Okay. Now, I'm going to hold it down and just cut everything. Go back and forth up a few times. Yep, didn't cut all the way. Alright. Set that aside. As you can see, it cut everything nice and pretty. Pretty is a word in Texas. Where are you from? If you're watching this, tell me where you're from. Give me a shout out. Where are you from? Shout out. What, Minnesota? I know I got some Tejas friends in here. Some little Texas friends that are watching this. Shout out to y'all. Hey, hey, hey. Alright. So this is the way it's going to go, and we're going to make sure that we like the way that it cut. Alright, so it's a little bit on the shorter side, but I can work with that. I can put more stuff in it, what have you. So now I'm going to take that and I'm going to close this down. This is not easy with materials, so we're just going to do the material by itself. Right. I'm just going to cut this by hand. Material is fickle. So yeah, I'd like to know where you're from if you're watching this. Do you have a channel? Put your channel's name down below. I will give you a shout out. Whenever I see it, I'll thank you so much for telling me where you're from and all that good stuff. I wish there was like some way to message on YouTube. I think that would be really fun if people could talk to each other on YouTube. That'd be fun, besides the comments. Alright, so we find the middle here. Put that in there, just make sure. Okay, that looks fantastic. That is going to be the first signature. And I'm just going to clamp it with my big giant oversized clamp. Now whenever you're making bigger signatures, you definitely want to kind of clamp it together so that you don't lose and your papers don't move around and all that good stuff. So there you go. That's my one signature. Now, let's see, this one, I kind of want it the same width, the same length, the same everything, and this is kind of short. So, let's see which one's kind of long here. Nope. Well, I need something that's going to be kind of... Y'all bear with me, I talk to myself quite a bit. Alright, all these are going to be short, but lengthwise I'm going to need a guide. So I'm going to take this paper out of there so I have a guide. It tells me how to cut it. Now I'm just using a regular old map pencil. Try and get kind of a idea of where I want to cut everything. I just used a light one so that I knew. Measured twice, cut once. Alright guys, I had to switch cameras because that one is a piece of doo-doo. So if you have a Sony 5100, sorry, it's a piece of doo-doo. It's a expensive piece of poo. I've had that thing fixed so many times because it shuts off on me for no reason. Alright, so let me see. There you have it. There is my second signature, guys. I'm going to get it how I want it. Make sure everything's in place. And then I'm going to clamp it with my big giant clamp so that it doesn't move. Alright, so I've got my signatures done and they are binder clipped so that I'm not going to lose them. Then I realized that I really need to cover the inside of this first. So that's what I'm going to do, guys. Okay, so I went ahead and I cut my cloth that I want to put in here. And I'm just going to Mod Podge it in here. Bear with me, guys. I've got to make sure that my camera doesn't fall out of the holster. There we go. I've got a hair tie holding it in place so that it doesn't get away from me. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to Mod Podge this cloth on the inside, and I realize that I cut it just a little bit off. Just gonna straighten that up. And I thought this cloth was really pretty, and I got it at Walmart in the they've got the fat quarters, that they call it fat quarters, and it's like 97 cents for a little folded up piece of material. And they've got tons of different colors, so whenever I run across something I really like, I go ahead and grab it and just hang on to it. So I've got a bunch of different colors and varieties. So okay, I'm gonna go ahead, like I said, and Mod Podge this. And while I do that, I really, like I said, I want to know more about my viewers. So I would love to have more comments, more connection with everybody. Tell me what you put in your signatures and in your junk journals. I want to know more. Now I'm just going to go for this right now because I just want to smear some of this Mod Podge on here. And I'm just using a sponge brush. I'm just going to get a good amount. I like to use this with material. I feel like it kind of stiffens it up. I think I said that in the past too. It kind of stiffens up whatever you're using, kind of like a varnish. And it may depend on which one you get, but I just like it. You can use glue, you can use tape. I was going to say spit, but I don't think spit works. You know, sticks. You can't just use anything, but you got to use something that's going to make it stick. And also you could add paper in here, material, cards, old letters, whatever you like. I'm using this because this is what I like. I'm making sure that the words are not upside down. I have a tendency to put things upside down. Not on purpose, but just because I'm not really paying attention. Surprise, surprise. Now, if this doesn't go on exactly how you want it, you've got some time to work with it. Kind of get it where you like it. And I kind of want to just stick that in the middle there. Thinking I'm going to be decorating this, so it's not going to be a big hairy deal if it's perfect. Bone folder. I need my bone folder. I have put my stuff in very neatly in this little basket, and I kind of neatened myself up to where I can't find things. It's so neat, it's hard to find things. Now, remember what happened the other day when I used this bone folder? I regretted it immediately, but the material will not tear, but it is bubbling. Yuck, why are you bubbling? No. Maybe I need more, because I pulled it up and I pulled a lot of it up, the glue up, so maybe it just needs more glue. You know, two things you can't go wrong with. More glue and more love, right? The world needs both. I really think. If you're watching this, I'm trying to talk a little bit more, because sometimes I feel I don't say enough because I get into what I'm doing and then I just forget to talk and forget to tell y'all, you know, different things. You know, what is happening here? It's not gluing like I want it to. Well, you know what that means. It may be the material. So we're going to go with my beautiful tacky glue. And we're just going to use what little bit I have left. I meant to grab some more of a lot of things. I needed a garbage can for my mother-in-law with a lid so that my dog will not, she likes to dig in the garbage. She's like super old, but she is never too old to dig in the dang bathroom garbage. For some reason, that's her thing. So we are trying to keep that from happening. Okay. You can see that's just pulling right up, and I think it's because, guys, the inside of the box has kind of got some kind of a weird coating on it. Tacky glue. Let's hope that we have enough tacky glue to get us through this little part here, because I can go run and get more before we decorate our little junk journal. And I'm being as generous as I can be, because the Mod Podge definitely did not work. But that's good to know. There's a coating on this mac and cheese box. There we go. So between the Mod Podge and the tacky glue, I'm thinking that we're going to get good coverage. That's why I don't like using the tacky glue with my material. But again, we're going to cover up everything with little fancy pockets and whatnot. So whenever you put that pocket in there, it's not really gonna, these little spots won't show as bad. This junk journal is turning out to be kind of not my best. It better be my favorite now, right? Alright, so I'm just going to go with my bone folder. Y'all, real life, right? my bone folder in the edges there, crease it up. Anyway, what I was saying about my dog is that she is blind as a bat. She's old. I'm pretty sure she's got doggy Alzheimer's, but she can remember where that dang trash can is. She digs in it. It's gross and disgusting, and I've got to find a garbage can with a lid. So, let me turn my tacky glue upside down, y'all. Now, I'm going to go ahead and push that with my fingers just to make sure that I get a really good seal. Okay, so got some spots, but the signatures are going to be covering the spine up, and these will be covered with really pretty pockets, so I'm not super worried about it. This is just adding another layer of texture. So because this is coated, the mac and cheese box was coated with that wax, I think even paper, unless you got like a really thick paper, it's going to do this, and that's going to be okay. I think the point of this whole journal is going to be that you have to be okay with making mistakes and figuring out what is going to work, because I haven't ever used a mac and cheese box before. It's become a little more trial and error for me, but that's okay. We got the inside covered, and then the signatures are going to go in like so. I'm going to show y'all how to do that as well today. The signatures are going to go in like so. So I need to find a guide, and because I want to sew my signatures closer to the middle, I know that sounds crazy, so I don't want anything too long, because in the past I've gotten it too long and then end up having wonky signatures. So have it a little bit shorter here, and just going to crease that so I know. Alright. Oh, now it wants to glue everything down. Lord, give me strength. Okay, so I'm going to have a little guide, and I want to put a T at the top, so I know where the top and the bottom are. So this is going to be, I'm going to eyeball it too. So easy way to do this. Let me get my excess off my thing here. Alright. So go ahead and have two guides so that in case something happens, but it's going to trim that excess there. Okay. So we know that that's going to be about where I want the signatures to be. Okay. Now let's do a longer paper after I did all that. Alright. Okay. Alright, so I'm just kind of making me a guide that I can go by out of a piece of paper, cardstock, anything like that. you want to have something that you can mark and throw away at the end of everything. Alright, so this is going to be my guide. Alright, and I'm going to put T at the top so that I know. Alright, easy way to do this. First of all, you want to find your middle. So just fold your paper in half. Super easy. Now we know we're going to have two signatures, so we're going to need two lines running this way and this way. So I'm going to fold it the top down to meet that little crease that was in the middle. It's going to give me my second place to put it. Now I'm going to fold the bottom up to meet the middle crease. Boom. So far, that's what I got. Now, I'm going to fold this sucker in half lengthwise. Okay, just lengthwise. Now bear with me, I got a method to my madness here. Alright, now I'm going to take that little crease and you're going to meet it right in the middle. And then you're going to do the same thing. Here's your middle. And you're just going to crease that paper that way. Okay. Now, watch this little magic here. Ready? 1, 2. Gotta see my creases here because it's kind of shiny. 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay. There it is. All the folds were kind of my guidelines. See, when you fold it, and then if you were to fold it this way, all those little folds make for good kind of even places to start with, so that you do not have to measure, which I've told you is it's not my strong suit, never has been. That's where I'm going to be placing my holes for my signatures. Make sure that, yeah. So this is my guide, and now I'm just going to take my little hole puncher here. You can take an ice pick, whatever you like, and just punch through those little holes like so. This is a box, so it's a little bit more pliable than a book, so it's okay if you're bending and straining, because you can reshape this sucker. Okay, I'm just coming out through the other side and making some big fantastic holes in my mac and cheese box. I'll figure out how to hold it. If I hold it on the other side, there we go. And that gives me my holes for my signatures. I'm just going to bend my box back. It's nice and pliable still with all that glue. Alright, this is also going to be my guide to line up my signatures, and I want this signature to be first. Now you remember that envelope that I told you I put in the middle? I want to keep that flap up so I don't sew the flap. Very important. This is going to be my first signature, so I want it on the first set of holes. Now, I don't have money for a book cradle. They're expensive. So I'm using an old book. Let me just move this piece of paper here, so I know I'll use that later. Alright, so this first set of holes, see I have T at the top, so this first set of holes is going to be right there in the middle of my signatures. I just want to line it up so that it's in the book the way that I want it. Now I've got my book right here. I'm going to make sure that everything's just how I want it, because I made my signatures a little short. Had fear of making them too long, because that happened in my last book, and then I had to do some creative fixing. Okay, so I've got this about where I want it, and my little signatures here. Now I put it in the, I open my book and I put my signature down on the spine of the book, and I'm just going to punch some holes. There we go. Follow your guide. Very simple, very easy. See, when it comes through, it's stuck in the book. Comes through, and it's okay if you just twist and push your pick. Ouch, just don't do it on your thumb because that hurts. Alright, so now you've got your holes. I don't know if that's coming out on camera, but you've got your holes. And that's where you're going to sew your signature. Let's do the next one. Just want to see, I want to put it in there, make sure they're all getting in there. Now I'm going to use the second set of holes. That in the spine of the book as good as I can. Do a little finagling to make sure that they get into the spine, into the middle of the book. Make sure your flap is up. The flap is up. This really is, today's stuff is really like the hardest part to me of the whole bookmaking process, because it has to have a little bit of precision. And see, I've used this book a lot for pushing that ice pick in there. I actually think I got this from Walmart maybe, but it's very, very sharp, and it pokes holes very easily. But today's is probably the hardest. So you've got your signatures, and you've got your holes punched, and now comes the fun part. We're going to start sewing, and I'm going to show you the easiest way that I've learned how to sew, and I learned this from lots of different tutorials. So let me get my stuff and I'll be right back. Okay, so a couple of things. I wanted to show you this really cool thing I got at Hobby Lobby. It's a magnet, but it helps me to pick up the needles and pins as needed. out of my little sewing box. Now you want to get a fairly big needle, just because that's going to go through your your signatures fairly easy. And then I have tried thread, I've tried elastic type stretchy things. The hemp cord, to me, for it's a little bit pricey, but you get quite a bit. The second one down is my favorite to use for sewing journals in, and it seems like it's the strongest. But they, you know, they're all really good. You just have to decide what you like to use. You can use thread. I've also tried embroidery floss, and that didn't work for me at all. Alright, so you want to measure at least 2 times. So that's 1. That's 2. And then a little bit more just for good measure, just to make sure that you have it down. Okay. Is this my first one? Yes, this is the first signature. You want to make sure that you got your signatures right. You don't want to accidentally sew in the second one to the first set of holes, because it usually will not line up as well as you want. Okay, so I have my needle threaded, and I have the bottom end just kind of pulled about halfway. Just put it in there, pull it about halfway. I know this video is getting long. Bear with me, we're going to sew these signatures in, darn it. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is you want to go through the middle hole. Don't be shy. Get yourself in that middle hole. Start in the middle hole and pull through, but do not let your tail go. Keep a lot of that tail in there. Now I want to put it in that first hole, my book, in the middle hole of my book. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this. We're going to sew it to the book. And my needle doesn't want to come out. There we go. Sometimes you have to kind of work it through, but don't let the tail go. You need that to tie it. Look at there. So nice. Alright, now you want to go back up to the top. This is where those binder clips come in handy, because they're your second set of hands. We're going through the top, and then we kind of have to work it into the signature holes. And they're here somewhere. There we go. Working through the heartache of everything not going through. Alright, now you want to pull. You went down into the middle hole. You held onto the tail. Then you came back up through the top hole. Very simple so far. Once you get that done, you want to pull both ends so that you've got very little give. Now we're going to go back through the middle again. So we're going to turtle that right back in there. And back through my book. Alright, so you can see I'm going back into the book hole there. Middle hole. Now, hang on to your tail. Don't want to let that get away from you. I'm going to finesse that right there. Now I'm pulling pretty tight. You don't want it to be loose, because then your signatures will be loose. So you want to yank that puppy pull it, and you want to be able to do that once you pull it, okay? That's going to tighten up your signatures and keep them in there really good. Now we're going to go to the bottom hole. This is where you really want to hang on to that tail if you can. It's going to try and get away from you. Alright, sometimes you got to find everything. And sometimes it goes in smoothly and sometimes it doesn't. There we go. So coming in up through the bottom hole. Alright, again, pulling on that tail, pulling on the needle side. Now I'm going to go ahead and take the needle off. I don't need the needle right this second. And I just want to pull really tight. I want to look back here and I want to see, is that tight? Not quite yet. Alright, look at there. That's good and tight. So I know that all I've got to do now is tie it, and I just double knot. Okay. So we've got our first signature sewn in. I'm going to cut the tails off there. Now see, whenever I make my envelope, I close it like so. Then you will not be able to see where the book was sewn in. So that, my dears, is the first signature. And it's got a lot of tactile to it. So fun. Now we're going to do the same thing with the second holes in your second signature. So let me get my hemp cord here.
Did you pack the flashlight, the blanket, and the map? It's a real adventure, the trail you're looking at. I'm glad you came. For a while I thought you might be bailing. Is that the same yellow shirt you used to wear? But 1,000 years seem like almost no time now. This guitar right here, do you still remember how I played for you? I was crappy but you sang along, and I thought you knew I could die to keep you near. We've got a fire in the tent. It's 5:30 a.m. Let's be the kids who left, get in trouble again. That stuff's got nothing on you. That one's brand new. Still it's got nothing on you tonight. I don't need to go over old and useless words. What you said, what I said, that might have made it worse. We're here again at the same spot where we kissed the first time. I swear my pain's far away, long gone by now. We've got a fire in the tent. It's 5:30 a.m. Let's be the kids who left, get in trouble again. That stuff's got nothing on you. That one's brand new. Still it's got nothing on you tonight. We could get back to this, catching up what we missed, or we could just relive that summer night.
You're able to get a really good placement of your ties. Alright, let's take all of these binder clips off. And again, that's going to be just like that once we sew it, so it'll be a pocket, and you will not see the ties at all. So that's why you want an envelope there. You don't have to have it, but that's why I put the envelope there. So, alright, there we go. Now, because it's long, guess who's going to have to do some cutting? Yeah, me. This paper right here. And I thought I had it cut just like I wanted it. And I did. But then once you sew, sometimes it just doesn't work out like you want it. So I'm just going to trim up some of those long pieces there. My Fitbit is telling me I need to move around. Alright. I thought I was cutting them too short. Guess what? I was not cutting them short enough. It's just this right here. Needs a little shave. See, you can finagle stuff after you get it sewn in too. Don't be scared to do that. If you cut it too much, who cares? You've cut something that's a little bit smaller. Actually, my last one, I tore each page just a little bit so that it wasn't so long and crazy. You see, no harm, no foul. That envelope's going to get folded anyway. So, I need to figure out, oh, this envelope kind of got a little wonky on me on that bend. So that's what it was. And then the material, can't ever trust material. Sometimes it just kind of gives you it moves. Material moves. So there we go. Alright. So you got your signatures in here. Let's look at how it looks sewn in. So you've got your little material. Look at that. That is how you sew in a signature. That napkin, because you cut the bottom off, it's going to have a place for them to write or add things that are really fun. Oh, see, that's crooked. I'm just going to take a hatchet to it and fix it. And y'all, I'm sure a lot of people, they get their measurements and stuff right the very first time. I'm not one of those people. I have to fix things as I go. So, I teach you the fixtures of it all. That's why junk journals are fun, because there's no right or wrong way to do all of this stuff. This is going to be a very long, skinny envelope. There we go. Ta-da! Okay, so got your long, skinny envelope there. Place to write. But yeah, mistakes happen. Things happen. You can fix them as you go. That's the beauty of the junk journal. And I don't know that there's many of my journals right now that I haven't had to do some kind of finagling, something. There's that pretty book page from that children's book. You may not like something right away. That's okay. You can fix it. And you can also cut these out and re-sew if you needed to. I just personally will cut and fix. There's your canvas and your pretty papers. See, I sewed it in upside down. Yay me. What I'll probably do then is cover that up with a pocket or pretty picture or something so that it doesn't show. But I thought I checked everything. Apparently I didn't catch that. There's just some paper to write on, book paper, a little tool that I put in there. I love to feel that tactile. Your ribbon and your envelope that's going to cover everything up, and there you go. You have got a book, and if you don't do anything else to this, you've got a book. But we're gonna do more. I want to cover this, and because of the little mistake there, we're gonna cover this up with something really pretty later. And then I'm going to show you how to start adding pockets and beautiful ephemera and things to this to make it your own. And hopefully you will stay tuned for that, because how much fun would it be to see what kind of mistakes I can fix next time. Guys, thank you so much for being here with me, and I hope that you will come back for the next one. We're going to do some other things to this journal, and next time too I would like to talk more about coffee dyeing and tea dyeing papers and things like that. So maybe I'll do a video on that if I can get this a whole bunch of thumbs up. I tell you what, I will do a coffee dyeing of paper if I can get at least 50 thumbs up. Now, I don't see that happening, so I probably won't have to coffee dye, but you know, y'all could surprise me. Yeah, let's have some fun. And remember, there's no mistakes. There's only things that you can learn from, do, have fun with. You can fix it along the way, but even if it's a little bit crooked or off, that's okay. This is your journal to have fun with, and just make some fun, beautiful ephemera, mistakes, books, things that you love to play with and keep your memories in. And that's what this is really all about, is just having fun with your journal. So let's see what next week brings. Guys, next Monday we're going to cover this up. I'm going to show you how to cover your spine and add some really pretty things on the front and really make it even more personalized for you. So enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great Monday. Please subscribe if you haven't. Like the video, and let's be friends.
Still, it's got nothing on you tonight. We've got a fire in the tent. It's right